Hi, Katrina. So at the 5 minute mark, we'll start it with whoever is here, right? All right, guys. Good morning. It's 5 minutes since the live started, so we'll get today. Well, today we are going to do today we're going to do balance. But before we do balance scorecard, I want us to I want us to take a look at the budget. I wanted us to take a look at the budget and the budget highlights. So, as community pharmacy managers, community pharmacy owners, things from the budget is going to affect you as a business owner and as a manager of a for-profit organization. I'm using the word for-profit organization because it's essentially what community pharmacies are. So, did any one of you pay attention to what was said in the budget? I didn't, but I have read the summarized versions. So, did anything stand out to you guys from the budget? Do you all understand what a national budget is like and how it can affect you individually and you as a company? Are we waiting for some responses? Because remember, I can't hear you all. So, first of all, did anything stand out to you in the budget from anyone? Does anyone understand what a budget is and how it relates to your personal life as well as your corporate life? Nobody's answering me this morning. All right. Well, while I wait on responses, oh hi Alexis, you're going to entertain us again today. So while I wait on some more responses, just to summarize, the total expenditure, no employment in the public service for a year, right? Education got the highest. Strawberry prices are going to be raised from January. Katrina. Yes, Shakila, they they put a freeze on public sector hiring, which means nobody is going to get new jobs in the public service. I think we're speaking about primarily um, persons who get employed through the uh, is it public services something? The hiring mechanism that the government has, where you enter as a clerk one, clerk two, those. Yeah, service commission. Yes, yes. Thanks, Nicolette. Service commission. Yes. So those type of jobs are going to be put on hold, which will be vacancies that the public service commission generates. But I think you're still going to get contract employment. Um, I know how does this worry you all when you graduate next year? Right. So yes, education got the highest, which is always a step in the right direction. Prioritizing the education of citizen population. What does that do? By investing in education, what is purpose? Little, because there would be more competition for jobs. Shakila, and to all my students, and for Samantha will answer. Let me just answer Shakila first. Yes, students, I am also concerned. It's a fact that the past maybe 3 to 4 years, graduates not only in pharmacy but in medicine as well, dentistry as well. They've been having difficulty in getting jobs. It's something that I could perhaps address in my lecture next week in farm admin, so that I can get it. Well, actually, this is a big class as well, but it's going to be an even more tough market and more tough economy. And um, I want to encourage all of you to look at alternative options for employment. Yes, I know you are being trained as pharmacists, but you're also being trained with some management training as well from this course and the other courses. um, and you can perhaps utilize that to put yourself on a platform for something a little different for now until you can actually get into practice. But you can retain your you could probably have a non-practicing certificate. I know the pharmacy board does that, but you may get a job elsewhere in something else that you might impress employers in, because the job market is going to be it is going to be difficult. Samantha, see, empower us through education. So yes, empower us through education is by investing in education, but it also increases the capacity of the country, meaning the country has more educated persons, so therefore the country is supposed to be more knowledgeable, has a wider knowledge base, a strong knowledge base, a dense knowledge base on which it can grow, and on which it can create, on which it can innovate, on which it can find solutions to problems, right? So that's the whole purpose of investing in education, right? And yes, Katrina, strawberry prices are going to go up come January because it's considered a luxury import food item. Kavita P, no more fuels and they did? I didn't see that. Really? I know we already had no, I think you'll have it mixed up in a from the summary that I have here. They are going to they are freeing up the cost of let me get it here. I'm going through a little too fast, but what I saw was they were going to remove the fixed price on LPG gas, which is cooking gas. So I'm still looking at it, and yes, all NP gas stations are going to be up for sale. That would be nice. For those of us who can afford, it would be a great opportunity. For those of you who are, if any one of you could afford to purchase a gas station, by all means explore it. And I'm saying that in the context of the difficulty that is going to be faced with getting employment. I've said this in my last class last year, and it has come to pass. We are producing a lot of trained professionals that we don't have jobs for them in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, with COVID-19, it's going to make it difficult to leave to get your Kavita P. So you're all sure about this? They remove no more fuel subsidies on super and premium. It'll be like America with gas stations. Okay, wow. I did not know this. I read. I thought I clearly read that it was on LPG tanks only. Yikes! So all of these things are going to have trickle down effects, and sometimes not even trickle down, but gush down effects on the rest of the economy that we are all going to have to face and deal with. So it's going to, of course, if fuel prices increase, and our country, well, we have a growing hybrid car market, and we have a growing electric car market. It's not to where we want it to be, but majority of our transport vehicles are diesel. Some of our taxis are still gas. We've seen more of them becoming CNG, more of them becoming hybrid as well. But wow, so yes, so all of these things are very important. It's always important to look at your budget. Your personal tax allowance is going to be increased from 6,000 to 7,000. So hopefully, if it is you do get employment, that that's paying you $7,000 a month, it's going to be tax free. Um, what else I saw here? I saw well, okay. So this last part, I guess we're going to address this in institutional pharmacy management. And he made a point that it costs $500,000 a year to treat one lung cancer patient. So therefore, they're going to increase the excise on tobacco up to 20% on tobacco products. Um, and this has been a strategy by successful governments in our country and other countries of the world to um, to force persons to one reduce the burden of chronic disease from smoking, and also to generate some more uh, tax income from those of us who have such a habit. Now, um, you would probably discuss this in pharmacoeconomics with Dr. Maraj about the elasticity of a commodity, price elasticity, where something would can be stretched, but people still buy. So cigarettes are like that, alcohol is like that, things that people see as a necessary thing, although we know it's not necessary, but because it's part of people's culture and their way of life, they will find the money to buy. Now, what this is going to now encourage even more so is a full-fledged black market trade for cigarettes. It exists right now. We have a black market trade for cigarettes. Just saying, just putting out a figure out there for you all. A pack of cigarettes from Whitco may cost $30, and a full pack of cigarettes from the black market trade costs maybe about $15, half the price. So the 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 attempt to reduce the burden of chronic disease, yeah, you have to look out for the development of a black market um, importation. I'm still looking for this thing. All right, the other thing is private sector is going to take control of the port authority. That's called privatization. Privatization, and this is something as manager you should be interested in, because it's now going to we've been talking about the state being providing an enabling environment for private sector to flourish, and this is the type of thing that we want. I know there are two sides to this argument, and there are some people who would be opposed to this, because when you now privatize, saying that um, you're not going to have a fixed rate. You're not going to have a fixed rate for a commodity which protects the consumer. But I wish to just remind everyone for that argument that for decades we had one sole provider for telecommunications in this country, which was majority government owned, and that company was TSTT. And they had a full monopoly on prices. And we all know what TSTT did to us with cell phone prices and landline prices as well. And then when Digicel came into the market, what it did to prices. So your thoughts on privatization, I want you to be very balanced when you're looking at the analysis. Um, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many other economists and managers as well, we see these things as good things, because a privatized industry would now encourage more efficiency, more effectiveness. The operations would be directed to rewards and goals versus you have a guaranteed salary and a guaranteed subsidy. It's a different way of thinking. Um, what else do we have here? We have commercial banks lending rates have dropped from 9% to 7.5%. So this would definitely tie into community pharmacy management. Whenever you want to start up a small business, you go to the bank, and the bank, of course, being the unfriendly sector that they are for entrepreneurs, and I repeat this without any reservation. The banks in our country are unfriendly to new business persons and entrepreneurs because they always want security, they always want history, they always want something to protect their interests. So banks in our country are very, very risk averse. That's why we have the government of the day creating companies such as Nedco, and I think it's MyLat, and some other things, some other limited liability companies to financially assist micro and small enterprise startups. What else do we have here? Um, I saw that they're going to look at increasing. Oh, one thing to note: private sector operation takeover of the Port Authority is going to have some, may have some. I'm not saying it will. May, I know they have had in the past, may have some resistance by the union. Now, chances are, if it is that they did this properly, they would have consulted with the union first before making this a public statement. But we're going to see in the week to come how the union is going to be responding to this. If and you wouldn't have an idea if it is they were told in advance about privatization. So electricity rates are going to go up. They are also going to look at using steam and hydrogen electricity to alternative means of power generation. So that's a good. We said all NP gas stations are for sale. They're going to look at putting more resources for financial intelligence, which is for white collar crime and corrupt and money laundering. They're going to be doing some housing construction, which is all of those are good things. Right, and I saw significantly for you young folks, they are trying to move into a digital economy. So I remember speaking about this when I was saying that one of the political parties was talking about app creation and $1 in 1 to 2 months because of the solutions that were made from this, because of the pandemic, because of the new use that their app had. Um, and so encouraging our economy to be digital. I see they're proposing incentives to tech investors, tech startups, and new tech business. So this would be app creation, um, technology-based improvements. This can spell good things for the application of ICT through for health. All right. So this is good. All right. They're looking at trying to secure the food import bill. Now, this is something we've heard for many decades. I really hope that it does come to pass. That we do focus some more on getting the agriculture in order to become a real profitable venture. Now, the reality, guys, is that Trinidad and Tobago is a relatively small place in terms of land size. So we may not have the amount of land that is required to do large scale, huge agricultural projects as in Canada, as in Argentina, as in Brazil, even right in Venezuela, right in Guyana. But we can do some. There are several farmers who are always interested in getting access to land to engage in more agriculture. And then they are considering the expansion of the retirement age to 65. All of these things, persons will be working from 60 to 65. In the normal public sector, chances are in the national security sector, they may increase that from 55 to 60 because national security services they retire at 55. So we have some things that are in the pipeline. Property tax, the feared property tax, but it's 3% on your annual on your it's 3% annually on your the value of your home. I don't know where I saw this thing about the LPG, but so the budget is going to be run on a $5 billion deficit, just about a $5 billion deficit. They have reduced their pegging of the oil price to $45. I believe they had $50 last year, or they had $55. So interesting stuff. As a pharmacy, community pharmacy, as a business, you have to look at. I saw that they were going to increase corporation tax to 30%. Um, because I don't do the tax, I think corporation tax was 25%. I saw personal income as well is going to be increased from 25 PAYE, pay as you earn. That is going to increase, and from anything in excess of $1,000, it's going to increase to 30%. So they are targeting high salary persons to get some more tax from such persons, from such groups. So these things will, you have to look at from a business perspective at business levy that you're going to have to be paying. If it's more or less, is the same. Corporation tax, green fund levy, all of these things your accounting consultant is supposed to be advising you on what would have changed and what would have been adjusted for because of the budget. So just wanted to just talk to you guys about the budget this morning because it is something important. I know we all want to try and insulate ourselves from the effects of a government agency or a government, but we live in a country that um, is that we have to abide by the rules and laws, and we must be aware of them. I am Kavita P. I'm still looking for this LPG thing that I saw here. I am still looking for this, but I am not seeing it at all. Anyway, so it's encouraging. I know it might sound strange, but it's encouraging to you young folks, especially those of you who may be tech savvy, especially those of you who may be involved in communications or who have that type of affinity. Might be a good idea to perhaps marry your pharmacy-based education and knowledge with technology and see what product you can create that can now generate income other than what you've been trained for, which is either an institutional pharmacist or a community pharmacist. So I want you all to look at this. I want you all to think about this. These are ideas and options that are available to you. You have tax breaks on it now from this budget because we are trying to head into a digital economy. And these are good things. These are good things. All right. So good. So this morning, guys, if anybody has any questions on the budget, I'll try my best to answer. But I think Dr. Maraj will surely cover this in pharmacoeconomics with you all if you all do that course in year 4. I'm not sure. All right, so we can open up. There are two PowerPoint presentations, one that Dr. Maraj did and one that I did on balanced scorecard. So we can go through his first, which is the one with the white background. and we'll start off because my one is a lot more like a nice summary. So, balanced scorecard. Now, balanced scorecard, gals and guys, it's a it's a management tool. Balanced scorecard is a management tool that provides its stakeholders with a comprehensive measure of how the organization is progressing towards its achievement of strategic goals. So, balanced scorecard, strategic management tool to take a look at your organization. Now, it does so. Moving on to slide 2, by looking at both financial and non-financial measures. It tries to balance short-term and long-term. So that's why it got the name balanced scorecard. So just imagine you have a card in your hand that you're now going to give a score on 4 points, and that's how the balanced scorecard, the name sort of come out, right? So it balances performance drivers with leading indicators and outcome measures, lagging indicators, and should contain just enough data to get a complete picture of performance and no more. So again, purpose of a scorecard, you can just imagine, is to have a summary of what's going on. All right. It leads to strategic focus and organizational alignment. So why do we do the balance scorecard? Well, these are a list of reasons there on slide number 3. To track progress, align your customer priorities with and the expectations with the customer to ensure that you are making money, to ensure that you are accountable, to improve on processes, usual things that you would want to be doing good management for. And here we have an example of using balance scorecard to help with a company called Sandia Labs. Um, so it's 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 the balance scorecard comes is fed out of the mission, division, strategies, and measures. I know you all would have hear me say this so many times. Measures, metrics, as young management training. I want you all to always remember the metrics. Always look out for the metrics. Always ask about the metrics, because sometimes you may go into an organization that it might not be as clear cut as you would want it to be, but you can ask about it. By you asking about it, you're now going to let your supervisor know that your head is on your shoulder. You seem to be very well trained if it is you're asking about metrics. All right, so ask about it. Reminding everyone your mission is what we do. Why do we exist? Your vision is what we aspire to be. Your vision is a simple but very grand goal that might seem unattainable. Strategies: how do we accomplish our goals, and measures our indicators of progress. So for strategic planning, you would see you do a SWOT analysis, you do an environmental scan, you look at your mission and vision, your strategic issues and strategic priorities are now derived from that. So it's a nice little diagram. I don't like it too much, but it's okay. So a strategy focused organization is able to translate strategy into operational terms and align the organization to the strategy. Making strategies everyone's job. Make strategy a continual process. Mobilize change through executive leadership. And what does that mean? What does number 5 mean? Mobilize change through executive leadership. What does that mean, guys? What does that mean, gals? Mobilizing change through executive leadership. Anyone? Leading by example. Yes, I know we spoke about that yesterday. Yes, that's leading by example. Um, but it's not quite what I want. I want the phrase I'm looking for. So someone else try again, Alexis, or someone else try again. Executive, right? Thank you, Biana. I was not going to prompt Shakila. Shakila, it was getting there. Executive leadership have to facilitate the change, and Biana had it perfectly right. Management will. Executive leadership is management will. The management has to have the will in order to execute on these things, in order to encourage the entire team to do these things. So the management must make the change, must make the give the instruction to have these things done, to encourage all departments to be part of strategy making. And what does number three remind you of? Making strategy everyone's job. We did this like we did this last week. Yes, we did this last week. Making strategy everyone's job. It speaks to a principle called making strategy everyone's job, making everyone be part of the planning. Giving some hints here. Making everyone part of the planning, making everyone decide on what the goals are. That's called having your supervisors and your subordinates all sit together and your executive all sitting together to find goals, to set the benchmarks, and then yes, Samantha C, very good. I'm proud. I feel proud. I feel proud. I feel proud. Good. Yes, management by objectives. That's what it is. Very good. Very good. 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 I have some bright students in this class. Um, right. So the mission and vision feeds into strategic planning and the balanced scorecard. And we have a list here on your right hand side of all of the fancy stuff, that fancy tools that we use to monitor the progress of your company. Things like TQM, we spoke about, we introduced TQM, Six Sigma. All of these things are a specific type of activities and systems that are used for progress monitoring. So the strategic direction creates the environment for change. That must be communicated to everyone, defining the objectives, um, and um, implementing the balanced scorecard. And then the balanced scorecard measures performance and improve process. And finally, evaluate and adjust continuous improvement, redefining initiatives. So if you take a look on this slide, which is slide 10, you see strategic management performance system. Do you all remember me saying that performance appraisal is very different to performance management? I said this yesterday, and I said it last week, sorry. And this is an idea of what performance management is like. Performance management is something strategic. Performance management looks at your strategies and objectives, utilizing things such as the balanced scorecard to measure performance, evaluating and adjusting continuous improvement. So whereas performance appraisal is a one-time snapshot, performance appraisal is a one-time snapshot to say, okay, Samantha, see, um, today is your appraisal. We are going to look at what you did historically. You did X, Y, Z good. You did A, B, C not so good. You need to improve on E, F, G. Whereas performance management is something that's much more inclusive, where you are now discussing with the employee of the objectives that you need to get achieved, how it feeds into the strategy, how and that it's constantly monitored and evaluated. So that's the difference of performance appraisal and performance management. All right. So that's just to introduce you all to that. So the balanced scorecard, and it's in this order. In my presentation, you'll see it a little differently, but essentially this is it. Learning and growth always is at the bottom, where our the learning and growth is how we continuously improve ourselves in terms of our knowledge base. So your staff and your organization as a whole must be one that is learning. Remember, I mentioned to always encourage a learning organization. Always encourage a learning organization. So your staff is always learning and developing themselves. By doing that, and your organization itself is learning and developing itself as well. And secondly, we have the internal business processes to ensure that your process mapping, and we could put this in here, things like process mapping, daily operation. Your internal business processes, how you do what you do. How do you process prescriptions? How do you interact with your customers? How do you um, cash? How do you do deliveries? How do you do um, uh, card transactions? Your internal business process. How do you merchandise your stock on shelf? How do you receive? All of these things are your internal business processes. How efficient is it? How does it affect the customer from being in your organization, in your store? So your internal business processes must be one that is always looked at, measured to the benchmarks that are available, to the gold standards that are available, to ensure that you are always efficient and that you are always doing things to the that is efficient. We could leave it as efficient because you want efficient internal business processes. And next, we have the customer. Is the customer getting what they want when they come to your store or your organization? Are the customers' needs being met? Are the customers being leaving happy? Are the customers spending the right amount of money that you would like them to spend? So these are questions that you'll have to look at and ask, and do your surveys of your customers to ensure that they are actually happy, they are getting what they want, they are glad to be using your organization and using your service. They're most likely going to be repeat. And remember what Kavita P, what we talked about yesterday with your customers and your staff. What happens between your customers and your staff? Kavita P, if you're still with us, or anyone want to throw it out there? The magic happens. Yes, yes, Samantha. See, Samantha, you're on fire this morning. All right. Yes, it's where the magic happens. It's where your staff is now going to ensure that a transaction is completed with the customer and the money is received. Good, great. And finally, it's the bottom line at the top. So it's a bit, ironic there. The bottom line is at the top, which is, are you making money? Are we doing all of this? Do we have a learning organization? Do we have efficient business processes? Do we have happy customers? But are we making money? Because we can have the first three, but let's just say, for example, the price that we have our service for does not afford us to generate a profit. The price that we have our service for does not afford us to pay taxes, to be afford to pay taxes and to pay salaries. So it must make sense. This, as we say in local parlance, you have to have business sense to understand that the cost that you are now creating to charge your customer, your selling price of your service, must be enough to generate a profit and generate a healthy profit. All right. A healthy profit is one that can, and we're going to talk about in this class. No, we're going to talk about this in farm admin, and generate a healthy profit so that you can pay your expenses, cover your expenses. Your expenses include cost of goods sold. Your expenses include all of your fixed expenses such as rent, utilities, etc. Um, your obligations to government tax, those things, and still have available or what we call net profit. Okay, so I know all of you are nice and you all want to be nice, but being in business, you have to be, um, because I'm saying this because there is this how to put it. People say you have to be a shrewd business person. Um, yes, and yes, you have to be shrewd in that you have it. It must make sense. It must make sense in what you're doing. Otherwise, you might as well just become a charity, or you might as well apply or go out there into the rat race and in the work world as everyone else. If you are taking risk as a business person, as an entrepreneur, then it must be worthwhile to be an entrepreneur. It must be worthwhile to be a business that is now employing tens of persons or 4, 5 persons, 20 persons. It must make sense. The cost of your product or service must make sense to cover your expenses and also to generate a healthy net profit. I'm using the word healthy because that profit now needs to do two things. It can go into your equity savings, and some of it is also used to reinvest and grow your business. All right. So understand this. Healthcare, I know as healthcare based professionals, we have a soft heart, and we tend to be very what's the word, boy? We could use a soft heart. We tend to be very shy and apprehensive when it comes to um, making dollars and cents and making profits from health. But the reality is, health is a costly exercise, and health is a business as well. Nobody's saying to be, someone who's overcharging, etc. But you want a healthy profit margin. Good. I hope this point was received well by everyone. So the customer perspective, as I said, make sure the customer is satisfied. A satisfaction gap analysis. Um, so you do your surveys. I remember doing some surveys with our organization as well, and we got some good feedback from it. Things that were telling us we're on the right direction, and things that telling us where we could improve on. All right, so good. Financial, again, um, cost of your service. I spoke about that just now to a large extent. Unfunded requirements of project budget projections and targets. So yes, as this is a component of your management that you need to look at. Budgeting and projecting, forecasting, forecasting how much things are going to cost. Internal perspective, efficiency. You see things like errors, transactions per employee. In the retail world, we look at transaction number, and we look at transaction value. Let me put that in there so that you can. It's rain falling by you guys? Will have rain falling by you because outside it's pouring. I wish I could have been asleep now. But I have to teach. Any rain up by you guys? Yes? Leandro, where you all at? Precious? Alexis, where you all at? Leandra's yes. Precious is yes. Alexis is nope. Kavita is nope. Kavita P is nope. Arima is Alexis. Teresa is Claxon. May no rain there? Leandro, no rain up Maloney? Precious St. Augustine, just cloudy. So I guess I'm. Uh, Biana B, where you look? Where are you? Where's your location? Wait, Point Fortin. Wow. Right. Okay. Sorry. Yes. All right. Okay. Okay. You're hearing something? 'Cause I'm hearing some noises though. You're hearing something too. Well, it may be just okay. When we go for the break. I'll go outside and see what's going on. I'm definitely hearing something. Yeah, yeah. This microphone really good, boy. I'm hearing so. I should probably run outside and make sure that the place isn't getting flooded out. Kavita P in Mayaro is overcast. Mayaro usually would get overcast conditions and then the wind from the ocean just blows it down to Rio Claro, Princeton, San Fernando. And we also get some coming in from some coming in from the northeast as well. Yeah, I'll definitely check on that. So okay, good. But everybody, Teresa, you're doing like Alexis yesterday. You're making jokes this morning. Um, I like you see how I want you all to take note of something here. You see how all of you responded? Let me see. Let me count this number. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight of you, nine, 10, 10, 10 of you responded, and Samantha A. 11 of you responded like that. When I ask a question, I want you all to respond like that too. Now. Give me some answers just like that, like, so quickly. All right? So let me just get back to the lecture and then we'll go for the break. I may be able to finish this before we go for the break. Maybe not. Good. Learning and growth, the learning organization. I see you have employee satisfaction here. Oh, yes, employee satisfaction, definitely. So you want, ties back into the HR lecture that happy employees are productive employees. So you want your employees to be happy. You want them to be able to be interested in learning. You want them to grow. You want them to be creative. You want them to take initiative. All right. So that's the learning and the growth part. So why measure? Well, here what? Let's take a break now, and I could go and check on my structures outside. We all have answers to this question. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. We're gonna go for a break now. We're gonna take a break now and return at. All good, all good, all good, all good. Sorry, I put in 10. 9. We return at 9. Return at 9:10. Right? Why this thing is do this way? Right. Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys on the other side of 9 o'clock.